Have you thought about going and downloading Valorant and wanting to know what the game is going to be like because it looks like so much fun and the cosmetic skins are so pretty? Well, I'm about to tell you how Valorant really is. As somebody who played this game back in beta and now plays it on full release, I definitely preferred the game back in beta because moments like this where you can't hear anybody because everybody alt walks in this game, so you cannot hear people walking behind you, you can't hear them walking beside you, and you can't hear them teleport half the time because this game is just like that, where the number one thing you do as a person in this game is alt walk your way through sites, through flanks, and honestly in anywhere so that the enemy does not hear you. And it's the most annoyingest thing ever, but it's the only way to really play this game. You also have moments like this where you will never ever be able to see anything in front of you for a whole 5 minutes of the game because there is 4 to 6 probably players in this game that have like the most endless flashes ever, and you will learn to hate them very quickly because they typically do not get kills without flashing you. And sometimes you're lucky enough to be able to pick one through their own flash, but guaranteed it doesn't happen. Now in this game here, this was really frustrating. This other team was sweating their tits off, and we were not prepared for it. We were not a very coordinated team. Sometimes you just want to freaking surrender in this game because that's just how pissed off you can get from this game. As you can see here, there's a breach that just used 2 util on me to try and kill me. Sky tried to flash me out once again, and I swing, and of course my shots are there, but they do not count, and my teammates are also getting completely butt fucked because that's just how this game is it's literally mayhem if you are not on point with your shots, or if you do not have the accuracy or the timing. You are guaranteed to die and probably hate your life playing this game. And there's gonna be moments where you're gonna want to uninstall. Sometimes you will get shots and you'll be like, yes, I finally killed somebody, and then sometimes you will immediately just get killed right after, because if you are not refragging your teammates, it's going to be living hell, because without your teammates the game can go downhill right away, especially if you're not coordinated. As you can see, I'm getting flashed 100 times once again because that's just what those kids do. They just flash you until you die, or flash you until you can't see your screen, pick one off, and of course there's this guy for the refrag. Like I said, if you're not refragging, it's gonna go downhill. Some other things to make note of when playing Valorant or going to play Valorant for the first time: do not expect to be a god when you first play this game, because this recoil in this game is so weird. As somebody that plays Siege, and the recoil is pretty understandable for the most part because it's either horizontal or vertical, but in Valorant the recoil is very bouncy, and I've been told that if you played CSGO before this, that's the only way that you will somewhat know how to control recoils in this game. And I don't play that game. CSGO to me seems like a very sweaty game. I have no intent to play it, and I never probably will. But if you are somebody that did play CSGO at one point in your life, maybe you should think about replaying that game and then coming to Valorant if you really want to play this game. Also, just a reminder, as somebody who formerly played Fortnite, skins do not make you better whatsoever. In fact, if you spend most of your time buying skins on this game rather than actually playing the game, I highly relate to you, because I have done that in both Valorant and Fortnite, and I honestly regret it because that's money I could use now for multiple different reasons. And just having cosmetics does not make you feel better. If anything, it makes you feel more like shit because you actually suck at the game, but you have pretty skins for no use because you die within 5 seconds of loading into the game. With some characters in this game, they require a lot of setup. Here I'm playing Killjoy, who honestly is an all-around good utility person to be playing. She is able to really stop plants and really stop any entry going into site as long as you're paying attention to your util, because these grenades that I throw, you do have to activate them for them to trigger or harm another teammate. She also has a turret that can easily be shot, but it's also annoying. And essentially just make sure you're using your util properly if you're going to start playing this game. Make sure you understand it, make sure you understand what it does. There is training grounds in this game, so don't be afraid to hit those things up whenever you start playing this game, because I honestly never really used it, and in it being in full release, it's very different than how it was in beta. And honestly, like, see, as you can see, this Spectre has a really bouncy recoil, and it also is a pea shooter, so it does not do a lot of damage whatsoever. And ADSing in this game is not your best friend. You do not want to be ADSing all the time. I do it a lot, as you can see, but you can also see that I missed a lot of shots on that person, and I honestly really only got that kill because I had height advantage, and her head was really the only thing exposed to me. And essentially, if you're not hitting heads in this game, you're probably not gonna get the kill. Like, it's a literally 50-50 chance of you getting the kill. And I'm not somebody that plays this game a whole lot. I'm also not probably the type of person to be telling you how to play this game. But the things that I've learned from this game, from being a shit player to being a mediocre player, is that ADSing is not your friend. You want to hit your heads. Body shots are literally, you might as well be shooting their toes at that point. And you also will probably never ever understand the health mechanism in this game, because you could hit somebody for 200 and they'd still be alive. And Ray's just right there just shot me with a rocket launcher, and that's gonna be probably something that you're never gonna want to have happen to you, because it literally makes you feel like a dumbass because you did not run away from the person that had a giant ass rocket in your face. Because I can tell you right now, I felt like a friggin' dumbass, and I was probably swearing at myself, telling myself, why did I not move? And at this point, I'm just relying on my teammates, but you know, they got site control because I was legit the only one in sitting on that site trying to hold it myself. And Killjoy may have a lot of util, but that doesn't mean that it's going to hold down the site 100% with me just sitting there. You do need teammates. If you're not working with your team, if you're not making callouts, you're not going to win the game. Also, Valorant is a best of 12 or 13 rounds. I believe it's 13. So if you are not performing well and your team doesn't want to surrender, I wish you good luck, because I've been in games where I've went 6-13 and I've hated my life, and I wasted probably about a good half hour of my time playing that game and hating it. And you'll also learn that you will hate Icebox. I personally hate Icebox. The map is very, very not well built. Yes, the creativity is there. It's a nice map, but there's so many nooks and crannies, and it's literally, if you are not coordinated with your team, you're not going to win on this map. You need so much coordination on this team, because as you can tell, there's just so many nooks and crannies here that they just, like, anybody attacking or defending is hiding. It's also just a really odd map to begin with. There's so many heights and everywhere for people to be up above you, or just in places where you really don't expect them. At this point in this round, we're honestly just waiting for the push. We took out one person and we're not understanding what they're doing because they're not coming in for the plant. I did use my ult on this to prevent them from moving into sight any further, and what Killjoy's ult does is it detains a person from being able to move, shoot, use utility, or anything that they have to be able to get into sight or kill you. And I just died to a kid sitting in a corner somewhere, and that's honestly how I feel playing this game the entire time, is that image that you just saw. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what happens when you ADS in this game, is you potato all your shots. You may think you're aiming at them, but you're really not, because that's just how bouncy this recoil is. And I don't know why I continue to ADS when I know I'm not supposed to, but I'm literally not that good at this game. And when I play other FPS games and coming to play this game, I get really thrown off with recoils because I'm not used to it. And sometimes I just get lucky like that because a person has their back to me, but honestly it's not that cool. He just wasn't looking at me. Some other things to make note of when playing this game is, honestly, you're going to want friends to play with, because sometimes randoms are literally going to suck ass, or they're going to just be rude, or they're just not going to say anything at all, and they'll be good at getting their kills, but they won't help you if you need to clutch. They'll sit there and they won't make a call out or anything like that. Mind you, that happens a lot for FPS games, so just make a note of that. This is such a clusterfuck here. I literally had 2 teammates in there and none of them shot at that Sova, and of course I had to be the one to die to that, and I was really mad. So never ever stack up in that tunnel. I do not recommend it unless your teammates are going to be paying attention to their surroundings. And once again, like I said, make sure you're refragging, because obviously I did not have a teammate there to refrag me, and I got one off, but of course the Reyna swung me like usual, which is what you should be doing when you see a teammate die. But as you could tell, my teammate was like, all my teammates were behind me. I was able to pick off this over here, which was nice because he's kind of detrimental into knowing where everybody is. I'm also setting up a turret so that nobody's able to come through. The Sage died there, trying to set up her wall to help us. I'm taking the spike to plant, and I'm just waiting for any possible pushes coming through, putting my turret back up. Of course, the Raze swung me like a weirdo. Don't even know how I got that kill. She should have killed me. I planted my ult because I don't want them coming into sight. I don't want them being able to defuse. And look, once again, I'm ADSing, and you can tell it's not a good idea. You want to be hip firing as much as you can. Well, I don't even know if it's called hip firing, but that's what you want to be doing. And I somehow got lucky there. But honestly, if I were them and I got killed by that, I'd be like a little bit mad. Another thing with Valorant that makes it different than any other FPS game, as far as I'm aware, you have to buy your utilities, you have to buy your weapons, and you have to buy 2 out of 3 utilities, or 2 out of 5 utilities, depending on how many you actually have. So if you want to play Val, I highly recommend making sure you know what you're getting yourself into, because it's not fun sometimes.